I've finished cleaning up. I've been having a real bad lung infection this week, and I just decided to take a little bit easy as far as grinding and forging. And I'm on an antibiotic. I feel a little better. I took the time to tidy up and to rearrange. Got my grinding station, drill press. Just put the handle holes in a shango over there. Got the patah. I've got a piece of clay over there. I'm going to work on the patah, designing the knuckle guard. I've got a place to lay things that I'm grinding. Got all my power tools sorted away and all my grinding belts put up within close proximity. Not much has changed as far as layout. I've just cleaned up all the clutter on all the workbenches and stuff so I can get something done in here. Rearranged all of my little pieces and deer horns and doodads for tooling, and I found a whole bunch of old knife parts I was working on even as a teenager that I never finished. So those will be coming up someday. Found some nice mahogany type wood and other stuff for handles. Yeah, I'll get set up here and show you what I'm working on here. Basic, I guess you could call it armor geometry. So we got the blade here. Still looks pretty much the same, just rough ground. Now I'm going to figure out the kind of the boss that goes over the back of the hand. And I've got this clay work down to about 1/4 inch thick to represent this plate. It's 9 inches in diameter, so I can lay it on here. I know I've got enough material in this plate. And rather than using sheet metal, I've left it a little thick so I can actually forge a bowl and grind off all the marks on the outside. Okay, so here I've got my dishing block, and we'll just start forming the piece into the bowl. Okay, we can go a little deeper here. Oh, getting the clay all icky. Oh well. So we can keep tightening that up too. I may be able to work with a smaller diameter circle. I'm just verifying I have enough material on hand to do it. Of course, the outer edge is going to grow, so I may have to cut holes in it to tighten it up like that, little wedge shapes, and then cross it. Well, they'd be missing is what they'd be doing. Yeah. So basically what this would do, let me flatten it back out like it was. That's working. Okay. So if I was to take, one second. Yeah, I'll actually use that. So, because it's clay, I can fold it over. Clay welds really easy. But if I was actually making the metal piece, I'll take probably the plasma cutter, to be honest, and then cut little wedges out along the edge, and then join that. And yes, I'll use a TIG welder to join it for the sake of speed on this job. But see, then it's tightening that radius a lot. So if I did the same here, lay my clay, just cut a wedge out. The same works for a conical shield boss or a helmet as well. If you take a slice of pie out of the circle, you can tighten it into a cone. Oh yes, this is going to work. So I will include this in my design. I have no shame using a TIG welder on this. For the sake of expense for the customer. See how it's a lot more like, say, a hat now, as opposed to, so I'm thinking at least 5 notches taken out. So, yeah. Close that up. Okay, so now it kind of looks bumpy, right? That's why I left it thick, so I can grind it down. Okay, so now to correct that, I just take all my puckers and hammer them out. I know that sounded like I said something else, but just a couple whacks. And yeah. Again, left thick. Now I can grind this out. Now we'll go back out over to this other workbench here. Get my knife here quick. This one's an old knife. I made this out of a piece of coil spring when I was about 14. So then we'll kind of look at where this is going to go. Of course, it's got to be as wide as my wrist. So again, it'd be awesome if real steel was that easy to cut. The plasma it is, of course. And then we'll contour around. Okay. Wish I had more clay. But there's kind of the idea. So now the gauntlet portion will join up there, and this will sit here. So that should, a 9-inch circle with wedges cut out in 5 places, maybe even 6. And as I was saying, I'm going to put a hole here and split this. So then there'll be a square hole here at the back of this kind of, I'll leave a nub so there's a square hole for it to index into. And then I'll actually wrap that split around the sides so that, and then form the handle between those. And then the gauntlet will come on, you know, weld on right here. So then this is actually physically wrapped around the mitten part, or the boss, if you will. So I'm going to roll this back out flat and see about how much sheet metal I'm going to need to. It shouldn't be, that should actually be pretty simple. I don't need to roll this back out flat. I just need to take a measurement. Well, I have the measurements of the customer's wrist circumference. It was about 5 inches around the wrist. And then however high he wants it to go, I'll have to contact him again, you know, for the radius here. And then it's just a simple straight line. And then I just curve it over the horn of the anvil or a forming block. And then I'll roll the edge or do some similar action to it so it's stronger. Like I said, this will fit in there, it'll wrap around, the handle will go through, then the gauntlet will weld on. And then I believe he wants, there's a symbol he wants on the blade, and he wants his name on part of the gauntlet. Yeah, I think we got this. Next step, tomorrow I'll go buy whatever steel I don't have. I'm gonna need some, I think I'm gonna get a piece of 12 gauge steel. I might have a piece actually. Hold on, I do. So, again, when in doubt, go stout. I want to make sure it's thick enough. Maybe this is a better choice for the, yeah, this is a better choice for the knuckle guard actually. I don't think I'll go through all of that. This didn't stretch that much. Make it a little bit lighter. And then I'll probably get some, yeah, good 14 gauge steel to make the rest of it. I'll just go get a chunk. Cool.